Hello, everyone. This is Pam with Old Age Reboot. And I'm not only rebooting my old age, I'm rebooting my relationship. This is the first video since John and I got back together. For those of you who didn't start watching me in the beginning, John and I did videos together. Our channel name was Not Done Yet, Life in a New Lane. I shifted over while we were apart, and now we're back together again, and I'm going to keep doing the videos on my own, although occasionally John may weigh in. And I did talk to him about this morning because on this video I wanted to talk about romantic relationships later in life. I found a couple of articles, one that we'll talk about today and then one that we'll talk about in the next video. The first article is called Relationships Later in Life, Navigating Older Love. It was published on April 1st, 2026 by the BetterHelp editorial team, whoever they may be. Thank you. What they talked about in this article were the myths of older age and romance, and trying to shed a little light on what's the real story. To speak from my own experience, I think one of the issues that John and I faced when we first were together was that we both had come out of the loss of a spouse, a long-term spouse, 54 years for him, 32 years for me. I think that we were drawn together, but we were still sort of being the us that we were in the relationship that had been ended by death of our partners, and trying to fit our still grieving selves together with two different blueprints, so to speak, of what an intimate or romantic relationship was like. You know, it was challenging and it didn't come easily for either one of us. And I think chatting with him this morning about this, the reality and the acceptance of the fact that as older adults, very old, 78 and 82, what you see is what you get. And there isn't going to be a lot of adjustments to help us fit together. We give up the necessity for compromise because there isn't time for that, really. It's living in the present, living with what we've got, being with each other for all the good and the bad and the flaws and the strengths, and accepting the good and knowing there will be disagreements, there will be difficult times perhaps. um, we have a timeline. We don't know exactly when it'll end. We're going to fill it up with joy and happiness and intimacy and strength as long as we possibly can. And I think it's a real testament to both of us that we've decided to give it a go. So back to the whole world of older people and relationships. One of the myths that they talk about in the article I mentioned is that older adults don't need romantic relationships. What they stress here is that older adults need relationships, period. And the closer, the better. Being involved with others, whether they be family members, a romantic partner, friends, even acquaintances over a game of poker, is vital to an older person like myself, and will potentially extend my life, as opposed to if I didn't have people in my life that I spoke with and spent time with. If I didn't have any close family relationships, my life would be less physically and mentally than it is now. relationships enhance our health and our longevity. That's why it's important, if you know older people and have them in your life, to reach out to them and give them that contact, because you're not only spending a great hour or two with them a week, you're healthier for it as well, regardless of your age. So there's that myth. Then there's a myth that sexual intimacy is only for younger couples. There was a study quoted out of the University of Michigan. They do a national poll on healthy aging. They found that 54% of those 65 to 80 years old were sexually active. Physical intimacy can lower blood pressure, again, the lifespan, extend the lifespan potentially, and also results in quicker or better healing. And those are important things, not to mention that it feels good. And it sort of ties in with the fact that the relationships that you have in later life, are not going to be the same as younger life. I think some of the drama is the same. Living in a building like we do, I think the gossip and the cliques, very much like high school. But an intimate or a romantic relationship is different. For one thing, it probably isn't your first, and may very well be your last. Um, and as older adults, you do have a narrower scope. I think because your time is limited, and you understand that perhaps for the first time in your life, and you want to focus on things that are manageable, that will bring you the best return, the bang for the buck. So that impending end, the reality of it, um, causes the romantic relationship to look somewhat differently than the high school relationship or the 20s flirtations. We also have more free time to devote to the relationship, although we're pretty busy, both John and I. And then there are the physical changes, and that's why I brought this one up in relation to sexual intimacy. Um, there's so much less pressure. There's less pressure to perform because you're limited, and you both understand that. There's more time, so you can have time with touching, um, just skin on skin. That alone is such an incredible gift to give another person or to be with another person. And there just aren't the pressures. There are not children to pick up. There's not jobs to worry about the next day. There's not, do we have enough money to go on the trip we have planned to Disneyland next week? No, this is our Disneyland and it's okay, buddy. Um, so that's a big myth. I guess that covers the myths in this article, but they do talk about how you maintain a relationship or cultivate a relationship. Certainly, well, the first one they talk about is stay intimate, whether it's holding hands, hugging, or under the sheets, so to speak. Stick with it. Plan ahead. Talk about what you're going to do, what you want to do together, where you might want to go. Identify common interests. John and I, well, we're interested in politics, we're interested in the news, we're interested in good dramas, literature to some extent. We share that. Um, we both also have deep interests in other things. So we're not looking just to each other for fulfillment. And that's really important. It's important to keep the spark going, um, to remember to say thank you, and um, to share feelings while maintaining our external, outside of the us, relationships with friends. Um, it's not rocket science, it's life. And aren't we glad, those of us that are 78 and 82 and in between and over that, to still have life? And if we are also blessed with finding someone to share that with, maybe many someone's in terms of friends and family as well as an intimate partner. We're just very lucky if that's the case. You're having a good life. So anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for listening. See you soon. We're going to talk more about maturity and love next time. Wow. Bye.